we're going to look at hiragana la, li, lu, le, lo in this video tutorial. The pronunciation of this series of hiragana is a bit tricky. We write it using R in Romaji, but actually the sound is a bit more like a cross between an L, an R, and a D. If in doubt, it's probably closest if you use an L sound. So la, li, lu, le, lo is quite similar. La, li, lu, le, lo. Okay, this is the printed form, la, li, lu, le, lo, and here it is in handwritten form. And we're going to begin by having a look at la for labito. Now the stroke order for la is 1 goes down like that, and then number 2 goes all the way around like that. And the story for this is that it looks a little bit like a labito, in other words, a rabbit. Now, we have to actually draw the other half of the rabbit to see where this story is coming from. This is one side of the rabbit's head, and we're going to draw a mirror image on the other, and hopefully you'll see that it looks like a labito. So these are the 2 floppy ears, and we can kind of join them up like that. These are the nice rabbit cheeks like that. And of course we need 2 nice rabbit eyes there. So there are his eyes. And we'll give him 2 buck teeth there because that's what rabbits have, isn't it? So it's ich, ni for labito. Now we have the mnemonic. This is the right hand half of a labit, a labit. And here's the stroke order to write in your workbooks. 1 goes on the top and then down, and that nice chubby cheek is stroke order number 2. Next we have li, and this is the printed form. You can see in the printed form the 2 strokes are actually joined up, whereas in the handwritten form they're quite separate, and li is for reeds in a river. And the stroke order is down on the left, a little optional tick here that takes you up to where the second stroke starts, and down on the right. Now next to hiragana li, I'm going to actually draw hiragana I, because you can see the first stroke here and here, they're identical. But the second stroke in I must finish above the bottom of the first stroke, whereas to make a li, you must make sure that you take that second stroke all the way down. So don't confuse li with I. Take that second stroke all the way down. Let's look at the mnemonic. And here's our mnemonic. It's reeds in the river. Li, li. And here's the stroke order. First down on the left and second stroke down on the right. And that's hiragana li. Next we have hiragana lu. R-U in Romaji. There it is in printed form and almost the same when it's handwritten. To remember this hiragana, we're going to see the shape of a 3 in there. Can you see? That's really just like the number 3. And then we're going to put on the bottom a ruby. There it is. That's a sparkling ruby. Let's make it sparkle. There's our ru for ruby. Not just 1 ruby, but 3 rubies. And here's our mnemonic. Can you see 3 rubies? Lu for rubies. Next we have hiragana le, R-E in Romaji. That's what it looks like in printed form, and it's very much the same in handwritten form, hiragana le. Okay, on the left-hand side, we've got the hiragana le, and you'll notice this time on the right-hand side, I've got another hiragana, and you may recall that that's hiragana ne. Now we've learnt ne, and let's remind ourselves what it consisted of. It was about a bird's nest, wasn't it? And it was this classic starting shape where you had a 1 that represented the tree, and then you had 7 going over the top. And that 7 represented 7 little birds in the nest, because this is ne for nest. And then we went up and we looked down and peeked into that nest, and there was an extra egg there, and that was hiragana ne. Well, you can see hiragana le starts the same way. You've got 1 going down like that, and in this case it represents a tree as well. So we've got a tree coming down, then we've got the 7 shape going across. Now in this case that 7 represents a man's back, And he's resting up against the tree because it's le for rest. He's got his knees up like that because he's sitting down, resting against the tree, and that's his foot. So instead of having an egg or a circular shape there, as you do with hiragana ne, in hiragana le, you've still got the tree, you've got the 7 there representing the man's back, you've got his knees up because he's sitting down, and you've got his foot. Okay, let's put the man's head there. He's having a nice rest, so he's very, very happy. He's having a lovely rest against the tree. He's quite skinny there. He's got a very skinny bottom. And there he's got his shoes on. We'll put a little heel there. There are his shoes. And you can see he's having a rest. How long is he resting for? Well, he's resting for 17 minutes. He starts with that 1, 7, le. And here we have the mnemonic for le, R-E. There it is, the stroke order. The tree comes down, and then you draw the skinny man on top, starting with a number 7 shape. There's his knee and there's his foot. And here's your mnemonic. There is a very thin man taking a rest against a tree. Finally, we have hiragana lo, R-O in romaji. There it is in printed form, and handwritten is very much the same. Stroke order couldn't be easier, top to bottom, and it's just like lu in that we start with the number 3. The difference between lu and lo is that we're missing the rubies here. What happened to the rubies? Well, sadly, they were stolen by robbers. Lo for robber, robber. And here's the mnemonic. There we have R-O for lo. There it is, 1 stroke. And over here, a robber has stolen the rubies. Lo for robber.